Should the sun suddenly vanish right now? What fate would befall Earth? Not an eclipse. Not a system malfunction. But a complete, absolute eradication from the laws of physics. What would we witness? This is the most cruel thought experiment. Based on current science. Next. You will observe the true destiny of Earth, minute by minute, century by century, after losing its star. The first 8 minutes and 20 seconds. You would perceive no change. Because of the speed of light and gravity, the two fundamental constants of the cosmos. The sunlight we feel at this very moment was actually emitted by the sun 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Therefore, at the exact instant the vanishing event occurs, you would remain utterly unaware. Global civilization continues to function normally in the residual light. Enjoying the last 8 minutes and 20 seconds. This is the final twilight of human civilization. And according to general relativity, the speed at which gravity propagates is also the speed of light. This crucial discovery means that, the moment the light vanishes from our sight, Earth simultaneously breaks free from the sun's gravitational bonds. The planet beneath our feet instantly transforms into an uncontrolled rogue Earth, following the tangent of its orbit, at the exact moment of its disappearance, moving at a velocity of nearly 30 kilometers per second, with no possibility of turning back, hurtling directly into the frigid interstellar void. This is a loss of two dimensions. We lose both the source of light and heat, and the anchor of universal gravitation. During these final 8 minutes and 20 seconds, the cities remain clamorous. The countryside, tranquil. No one knows that their home beneath their feet has become a wanderer in the cosmos. This extreme ignorance juxtaposed with the approaching catastrophe forms the most breathtaking dramatic tension on a cosmic scale. After 8 minutes and 20 seconds, the eternal night descends. The sky, as if a colossal switch was instantly thrown, plunges abruptly into absolute darkness. The moon, along with Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and all familiar planets, instantly vanish from the celestial dome. Because they do not emit their own light. They merely reflect the sunlight, which is now non-existent. Yet, the starlight in the night sky now appears brighter than ever before, like diamonds scattered on black velvet. Extraordinarily cold and clear, but beneath that beautiful starscape, at the very foundation of the biosphere, a silent catastrophe has already occurred. Global photosynthesis ceases instantly. This is the ultimate source of energy for almost all life on Earth. And the very foundation has been ripped out. For humanity, the initial reaction is worldwide panic, chaos, and disbelief. Social media collapses completely under the flood of information, with countless speculations and rumors running rampant. Immediately following, mass power outages begin. Solar power stations fail first, triggering a catastrophic chain reaction. Within minutes or hours, the global power grid succumbs to surging pressure and is paralyzed. Cities, one after another, lose their illumination. People frantically switch on flashlights and illuminate car headlights, attempting to dispel this pure, unadulterated darkness never before experienced. This darkness is unlike any other night, because behind it, there is no longer a hope called dawn. 1 hour after the event, the temperature begins to plummet rapidly. Earth has become a thermal radiator, a heat-losing corpse. It constantly sheds the heat, accumulated over billions of years, radiating it out as infrared waves into the absolute zero of space. The air temperature begins a slow but resolute decline. After 1 day, the global average temperature has dropped by approximately 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. People awaken from the initial shock and turn to the most primal survival instincts. The fragile social order threatens to collapse at any moment. Crowds surge into supermarkets, wildly seizing food, water, candles, and batteries. The demand for heating instantly reaches its zenith. Coal, oil, natural gas, these fossil fuels that once drove civilization, now become the most precious resources for survival. The outdoors becomes extremely perilous. The threat comes not only from the bone-chilling cold, but also from the risks posed by the darkness and the collapse of order. After 1 week, a cold, new world paradigm is established. The global average temperature drops to around 0 degrees Celsius. Once temperate and tropical regions begin to experience unprecedented, widespread snow. The oceans, Earth's colossal heat reservoir, also begin to shed massive amounts of heat into space. The initial chaotic order is slowly being restored. The human survivors support each other and begin to converge on fixed energy strongholds, nuclear power plants, areas rich in geothermal resources, near large hydroelectric dams, or underground shelters relying on massive fuel reserves. The tightly knit globalized social structure rapidly degenerates into insular, regional survival communities like isolated islands. In this new world, knowledgeable scientists and engineers skilled in maintenance become the most valuable assets. Everyone's existence revolves around a few core themes: locating and distributing food, maintaining power systems, and defending against the relentless cold. Agriculture has definitively become history. After 1 month, the global ice age officially commences its grim overture. The average surface temperature plunges to between -20 and -30 degrees Celsius. The world's oceans begin to freeze rapidly from the surface. The ice layer thickens daily. Atmospheric circulation, which once drove storms and monsoons, gradually weakens due to the vanishing temperature gradients across the surface. After enduring the final few blizzards, the world falls into a profound silence. The surface is no longer fit for human habitation. Survivors are compelled to retreat underground. This becomes the arc for a new humanity. Relying on nuclear and geothermal power, they maintain an extremely fragile ecosystem. Perhaps they attempt to establish hydroponic farms using artificial light, cultivating mushrooms and shade-tolerant vegetables. Strict food rationing is the central pillar of life here. After 1 year, Earth presents a new countenance, one it has never worn before. The average surface temperature has stabilized between -70 and -100 degrees Celsius. At this extreme temperature, the atmosphere begins to snow. Carbon dioxide in the air, followed by oxygen and nitrogen, will sequentially reach their freezing points, falling from the sky like snowflakes. Upon the already frozen surface, a new layer of snow forms. Composed of solidified air, the oceanic ice cap has reached depths of hundreds of meters. If you were able to return to the surface at this moment, you would witness an unimaginable spectacle. The entire planet shrouded in a field of white ice crystals composed of the frozen atmosphere, and covered by deep blue ice hundreds of meters thick. Beneath the perpetual, unchanging starlight, this is a world breathtaking in its beauty, yet utterly silent and dead. Between the subterranean survivor strongholds, weak connections might still be maintained through deep-buried fiber optic networks, sharing their survival technologies and knowledge. They have become the living hard drives of human civilization. Their primary mission is no longer progress, but simply to survive, and to diligently pass on human knowledge. And down in the subterranean shelters, listening to this inherited knowledge before sleep, is a ritual dedicated to the fierce pursuit of enduring life. After 1 century, the surface temperature outside plunges further, below -200 degrees Celsius, closely approaching absolute zero. The atmosphere that once enveloped us has almost completely collapsed, solidified and deposited onto the surface. Earth has been reduced to a Pluto-like frozen rock planet. If any humans still survive at this point, they can only exist deep within geothermal hot zones, such as Iceland or Yellowstone National Park, depending entirely on the geothermal heat generated by Earth itself for their meager existence. After generations of propagation, they may have evolved into an isolated and hermetically sealed new community, with a culture centered purely on survival. The memory of the sun has become a tribal myth, an ancient legend of the god of light and warmth. 1,000 years later, the deep ocean becomes the ultimate bastion of life. The surface ice is now several kilometers thick, sufficient to resist the extreme cold of cosmic space, but protected by this immense ice layer. And relying on heat conducted from the Earth's core, liquid water can still exist, especially near deep-sea hydrothermal vents. These vents, spurting high-temperature fluids in the deep ocean kilometers below, are the place where Earth's life may have first originated 4.6 billion years ago. Now, they have also become the last sanctuary for life on Earth. The ecosystem here, composed of tube worms, blind shrimp, and countless microorganisms, never depended on sunlight, relying instead on the Earth's internal geothermal and chemical energy for existence. The disappearance of the sun has had no effect on them. They will continue to multiply here, completely oblivious to everything that transpired on the surface. The seed of Earth's life is preserved in this final, warm aquatic region. 1 million years later, Earth faces its ultimate destiny. In the vast majority of scenarios, Earth will forever be a dark, frozen rock planet, silently wandering through the immense interstellar void. Its internal geological activity will gradually cease. As the core cools, the energy sustaining deep-sea life will eventually be depleted, and the Earth's magnetic field will vanish along with it. Of course, there is one extremely tiny, almost romantic possibility that during its interstellar wandering, which could span millions or even billions of years, Earth is lucky enough to evade all fatal collisions, and perhaps, with an infinitesimally small probability, is captured by another lone star, becoming a member of its solar system. At that time, the surface ice might slowly melt under the new light. But the planet will be greeting a completely new, utterly unfamiliar sun, and a desolate, radically transformed dead world. This is the complete saga of Earth after losing the sun. From From the initial 8 minutes and 20 seconds of ignorance, to the chaos of the first week, the deep freeze of the first century, until, a million years later, the final island of life curled up next to the deep-sea vents. It tells us that Earth is both fragile and resilient, and life is both tiny and immense. The sun's disappearance drew the life's bounty away, but forced the planet to reveal its ultimate card, the beating geothermal core. Therefore, when we bathe in sunlight again, we should see not just a celestial body, but the exquisite and delicate balance that sustains the existence of our entire civilization. Now, take this thought experiment to its ultimate extreme. If you could choose 3 items to take into the subterranean shelter and guard the last seed of human civilization, what would you choose? A seed? An encyclopedia? Or a promise? Share your answer in the comments.